Hey, welcome to the 16th lesson on C++. Throughout this lesson, we are going to talk about error handling in the C++ language. When developing various programs, it is often necessary to handle different exceptions or errors. In this lesson, we'll talk about how to handle them. To start, I suggest creating a simple function without error handling. Later on, we will add error handling to make the function as safe as possible. Let's create a function called divide for dividing two floating point numbers, float A and float B. Since we'll be working with division, I chose to use a floating point data type. In this function, we'll simply print the result of dividing, A by B. That's all we'll do for now. Now, let's call this function with arguments, 5.2 and 1.2. If we run this, everything will be handled correctly, and the division result will be displayed. However, if we change the second parameter to 0 and try to run the program, we'll notice an error. The error is due to the mathematical rule that you cannot divide by 0. We attempted to divide by 0 and, consequently, encountered an error. Such errors can be handled not only for division by 0 but for any other errors as well. To handle the error, we can specify a condition here. The condition will look like this: if the second variable is equal to 0, we will throw an error. So, we use the keyword throw, and we can pass a parameter to it, such as the error message. Let's write the word divide for simplicity. Otherwise, we will proceed to print information on the screen. Now, if we run this with the second parameter as 0, an error will be thrown. We need to handle such errors. To handle this error, we need to use an exception handler. It is written as follows: you write the try construct. In my case, inside it will be our divide function. Try is the block where we try to do something. That is, we are saying, try to execute this piece of code. If everything works, then this piece of code will be executed. But if it doesn't work, then in the catch block, we try to catch some error. Here, in this block, I will specify that we will catch a certain string. And I will additionally check this string. I will write here, if this string is equal to our string divide, then in that case, I will print a message on the screen saying, error dividing by 0. And don't forget to end with a semicolon. So, we have added an error handler in which we first try to do something using the try construct, and if it fails, the catch block will execute. And we will display some information on the screen. If you run this, depending on the C++ version, it might work, but in my case, it gives an error. The error is because here we cannot specify a string. We need to specify a number that we supposedly throw in the format of the error. Let's make sure it works correctly. To ensure everything works correctly, instead of a string here, I will throw a number. This number can be anything. For instance, I will throw the number 100. Next, you do the following. Go to the catch block and specify here that you accept a number as an error and check the value of this number. That is, if my error is equal to a number like 100, I will understand that it is a division error. But again, you can come up with this number yourself, and it can be any number. Accordingly, if there is such an error, then I will display the correct text on the screen. If you run all of this now, you will notice that instead of fatal errors, we simply get a message about division by 0. You might ask a logical question: why do I need exception handlers at all? Isn't it more convenient to just use the standard function to output messages to the screen? Yes, actually, in a task like this, it would be easier to write it that way. But I'm showing you exception handlers for the reason that in various libraries in the future, when you work with them, there are a vast number of built-in functions. Most of these functions will return some error, and you won't be able to rewrite that error inside the function. You will need to handle it exactly as we did now, using the try-catch construct. So, I'm demonstrating this so that you know how it is written, as we discussed in this lesson. At the moment, it might be convenient to work without this construct, but in the future, you will find this construct quite useful for handling various errors and exceptions. And overall, our lesson comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Until we meet again, goodbye.